Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am back with another Yap Session, and in today's Yap Session, I want to yap to you guys, as you can tell by the title, of course, about Barcelona striker, our number 9, 35-year-old Robert Lewandowski. If you're an OG Meets No Ball viewer, and I'm talking about if you've been watching me from my TikTok days, before I ever made a YouTube channel, you know I've been somewhat critical of Lewandowski's tenure at Barcelona. Now, full disclosure, I feel like a lot of my criticism has been warranted, but again, we'll get to that later on in the video. But when Barca first acquired Lewa back in the summer of 2022 during that preseason tour, I was extremely happy, bro. I was actually ecstatic. Because Barca the previous year, we had good striker play, but nowhere near elite striker play. Because obviously you had Aubameyang, who in my opinion was fantastic for Barca the 6 months he was there, obviously coming over from Arsenal on loan. I love having Aubameyang. But again, picking between Aubameyang and Lewandowski, I'm picking Lewa every day of the week. If you're asking me to pick between Memphis Depay or Ferran Torres playing as a false 9 or Lewandowski, I'm obviously picking Lewa every day of the week. Luke de Jong, cult hero. I love Luke de Jong, a Barca legend in my opinion. The streets will never forget about Luke de Jong. But again, if you're asking me to pick between Luke de Jong and Lewandowski, it's close, but I'm taking Lewa every day of the week. And when Lewa came to Barca, he was coming in as arguably the best player in the world, and no debate about it, a top 3 player in the world. He was that good, bro. Lewandowski's last 3 years at Bayern were, in my opinion, the best 3 seasons of his career. He was so good, man. I mean, in 2020, he was simply the best player on one of the greatest teams football has ever seen. And FIFA, fuck them. They won't recognize him as the Ballon d'Or winner, but we know Lewa won the Ballon d'Or in 2020. We know that. Football fans, we know that. Fuck FIFA and whatever they recognize in the record books. We know that Lewa was the rightful winner of the 2020 Ballon d'Or. In 2021, he finished second behind Messi. And, some people argue, not me, but mostly Salty Ronaldo fans, that's the biggest robbery in the history of the award because, again, Lewa was fantastic that year as well. So in 2020, should have won it. In 2021, you finished second behind Messi. And in 2022, he had fucking 50 goals in all comps, bro. 50. He had 35 goals in 34 games in the league. More goals than games in the Bundesliga. He scored 13 in the UCL. 13 goals in the UCL. And Bayern got knocked out in the quarterfinals by Villarreal, obviously that Unai Emery team. Not even playing the semifinal or the final, he had 13 goals. So he was coming into Barca on the best form of his life. And he continued that form before the first half of the season at Barca. He was so good, bro. So good. He had that game against Elche where he scored a double. He had the game against Villarreal where he scored a double, I'm pretty sure. He had a game against Inter where he scored a double, against Victoria Pilsen where he scored a double. I mean, the guy was scoring goals for fun. So good. He was keeping up with Erling Haaland when it came to goal scoring. As a 34-year-old, whatever he was keeping up with a 23-year-old, 22-year-old Erling Haaland, who was having one of the best seasons we've seen a striker have over the past couple years. Haaland, who won the Golden Boot and who won the European Golden Boot and the Premier League Golden Boot, Lewandowski was competing with him, and he was a Ballon d'Or contender as well. He scored in 9 of the in Barca's first 12 games. Lewa scored in 9 of them. He scored in 5 straight games at one point. I mean, the guy was on the form of his life. Him, Dembélé, Rafinha, Gavi, Pedri, the team was playing so well. And Barca was contending for the league because obviously we got Lewandowski on the team. That was the biggest change from the year before. Obviously we got Koundé, Rafinha, and all those guys, and Kessie. But the biggest change was Lewandowski came to Barca. And he was proving why he was arguably the best player in the world. But then, the second half of the year comes around after the World Cup, and he was awful, bro. Awful. I'm not even exaggerating when I say, again, people are going to point to his stats. Oh, bro, he had this many goals, this many assists. Yeah, that's great. Again, football is not just goals and assists. It's really not. It's a big part of it, but it's not just goals and assists. And I'm not trying to say this to puff on my chest or brag or say I'm the biggest Barca fan ever because again, I'm just going to say this because it helps my argument a little bit. But I watched every single minute that Lewandowski's played in a Barca shirt. Every single minute that he's played. And I saw from the first half of the season to the second half of the season at Barca's first year there, a completely different player. Again, Barca won the league, and I just assumed that Lewandowski was in a slump, so I didn't really care that much about it. I was like, you know what, he ghosted against United. He ghosted in a couple games on the stretch. He had Clásico down the stretch, in the Copa del Rey as well. He just wasn't good. But again, it happens. Players go through slumps. He's going to come back better next year. And then he comes back this year, and he again wasn't great. And again, people are going to say, bro, 20 goals and 9 assists, he's been amazing for us. No, he hasn't, bro. From August to January, he was utterly unplayable in a bad way. Not in a good way, in a bad way. And Xavi was shoehorning him into that team. His hold-up play was terrible. His finishing was subpar. His attitude on the pitch was really bad. He just wasn't playing well. And again, my biggest frustration was not really with Lewandowski, but the way that Xavi just kept trying to shove him into that team and give him some status as to as if he was Messi or something, where he's like unbenchable. No matter how bad he plays, he's unbenchable. But we had seen Lewandowski for a whole year be subpar. The whole 2023 calendar year, Lewandowski was not good. And even in January, when the calendar turned, Barca had really bad form in January, and a lot of that was to do with the fact that Lewandowski was not playing well. So to me, my criticism, like I said, was warranted. If you're expecting me to sit here and apologize to Lewandowski, you're in the wrong video, because I'm not going to apologize for criticism that I said back then, because to me, like I said, it was warranted. And when Xavi was dragging him into that team and he just kept playing him 90 minutes no matter what, when Lewandowski was ghosting again, he had the game against Alaves where he was good, he had the game against Celta Vigo where he scored a brace, he had good games here and there, but like as a totality, like consistency, like his consistency was just not there. It just simply wasn't there. And players were like, I remember like games where Rafinha would be playing great, or Joao Felix would be playing great, and Lewandowski would be like the bad player in the front three, and they would get subbed out, and Lewandowski would never get subbed out. And again, a lot of that is not Lewandowski's fault, it's Xavi's fault. But I mean, we had a joke in my stream during that span that Lewandowski had nude pictures of Xavi on his phone because he looked like he was extorting Xavi because he was playing so bad, and Xavi refused to sub him out. But then, like I said, since like February, obviously Barca has been unbeatable since Xavi Nasri was like stepping down, and obviously a lot of that has to do with the fact that Pau Cubarsí has emerged, and Lamine Yamal has emerged and became even better than he was before, and obviously the defense is playing better as a whole, and we got Ter Stegen back, and the whole team's just playing better. But a lot has to do with the fact that our number 9 is playing like the guy that he was, like not really the same level, but he's playing a lot better than he was in the first months of the season. So again, like I was saying, I'm not going to sit here and apologize to Lewandowski because, like I said, my comments back then were warranted. But again, I'm not stupid enough to not admit when I'm like not wrong about something. But I'm going to give him credit when it's due. Like when it's time to criticize a Barca player, I will criticize him. But when it's time to give him credit, I'm going to give him credit. Because again, I want to see every Barca player succeed because I love this team. And when Lewandowski plays well, that means that Barca plays well. And when Barca plays well, that means that I'm happy. And when I'm happy, that means, I don't know, that just means I'm happy. And I like being happy. I don't know about you guys, I enjoy being happy. You know, I like seeing my team play well. I like seeing our striker play well because obviously that means that the team as a whole is playing a lot better. And his hold-up play has been a lot better as of late. And his finishing has been a lot better as of late. His attitude still pisses me off. He's still like too annoying with the young players. He's always trying to he's always like doing a side eye or complaining, which pisses me off. But still, you know, players have flaws. Not everybody's perfect. Lewandowski, that's one of his flaws. The fact that he's always complaining to Lamine Yamal or Victor Roque or Rafinha or this guy or the other guy. You know, he always wants the ball no matter what. No matter if he's covered by 3 players, he always wants the ball. And again, that's probably what's made him so good. The fact that he feels like he can score no matter who's in front of him. That's why he's one of the greatest strikers of this generation. But again, I'm not going to apologize because I don't think I was wrong back then, but now that I see him playing better, I will give him credit. And if you watch my streams, if you watch my videos, you know that I've been less critical of Lewandowski. I've actually been giving him praise. And this, like in the UCL, he scored the goal against Napoli in the first leg. He was really, really good. He scored the goal against Napoli in the second leg as well. The third goal, obviously, to basically seal the tie. And against PSG in the first leg, he barely got talked about, but he was amazing in that game, especially in the first half. His hold-up play was fantastic. And that's what's really changing this game. I mean, Lewo's always been a decent finisher. What the fuck am I saying? He's always been a great finisher. Obviously, when I was talking about like the first half of the year, he was struggling with finishing because Barca were creating chances, he just couldn't finish them. But as of late, he's been finishing a lot better. Obviously, he's been more clinical in front of goal. Obviously, that goal that he scored against Atletico Madrid before the international break was a great finish. But what's really changing this game is his hold-up play. He's become so much better at that. And that goal that I was saying, the first goal against PSG when Rafinha scored, like if we're doing like a credit pie for that goal, like who gets the most credit, Rafinha obviously gets 70% of the credit for that goal because he scored it, obviously. Pau Cubarsí to me gets 10 because he's the one that played that insane line-breaking pass to Lewandowski. But Lewa gets 20%. Is that the right math? Like 70 plus 10 is 80, and then, yeah, I can do math. Okay, Lewa gets the other 20% because he's the one that takes on like 3 PSG players, like their whole midfield, and then plays that ball out wide to Lamine Yamal, and he's the one that makes that run into the box that caused that, and then Lamine Yamal plays that Trivela pass to Lewa, and then obviously Lewa making that run causes Donnarumma to spill the ball, and it falls obviously to Rafinha. So again, he's been a lot better. And if Barca win the UCL, which obviously I think we can because we're already one step closer after winning the first leg against PSG, obviously we still have a second leg to play, but I believe Barca will go through in this tie. And then after that we have Atletico Madrid or Dortmund. I believe that a large part of that would be the fact that Lewandowski is stepping up and been playing better. Because we can't win the UCL without our number 9 or a guy who should be theoretically our best player not playing well. So again, I have faith in Lewandowski to come through over these last few months of the season. But that's not to say, like I say that to say this. Does that mean that Lewandowski is still unbenchable? No, he's not. He's simply not unbenchable. Yes, like I'm gonna say it one more time because he's been great over the past few months. Again, I admit that. But does that mean that we have to play him every single game 90 minutes? If he's playing bad, we can't bring in Roque. Sorry, I had to burp. or we can't give minutes to Mark Yu. No. And that's what pisses me off the most, is the fact that we give him this legend status, like we can't bench him no matter what. You can bench Lewandowski. If he's playing bad and it's the 55th minute and you want to see Roque come in, you can do it. If there's a matchup that you like where you can see that we can exploit some space in behind, like we saw in that first leg of the Napoli game, where again, Leo scored, but there was so much space to be exploited in behind, that would have been a tailor-made game for a faster player like Roque. We can obviously get him behind, and Leo doesn't have that speed anymore. He never really had that speed, but definitely not now. So again, I don't want to see us just be so, like, again, he's been playing better, but it doesn't mean that, is he the level that he was before the international, before the World Cup, his first year at Barca? No, he's still not that good. That was a different player that we see now. It's just completely different. But again, I'll admit that he's been, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm doing this on purpose, by the way. It's not like I'm not repeating myself on accident. I'm doing this on purpose because I want people to understand he's been better, but still, he's not Haaland right now. He's not Mbappe. He's not Phil Foden. He's not one of the best players in the world where you can't bench him no matter what. No, you can still bench Lewandowski. You can give minutes to Roque. You can give minutes to Mark. You can aid them in their development, because those guys are going to be here longer than Lewandowski. So again, I just want to make sure you guys understand, I appreciate Leo for what he's done. And I feel like a lot of people think I unfairly scrutinize him, but I don't think I have. And again, if you watch Barca for the first half of the year, you know that he was just simply not good. Like, at all. Really, really bad, actually. Like, it was actually painful to watch at times, him trying to, like, take a first touch. It was like he had a brick for a cleat. And his hold-up play was terrible. And again, his finishing was just not there. But he's been a lot better over the past couple months. But again, that does not mean we have to keep playing Leo and just shoving him into that team no matter what happens. We'll obviously see against Cadiz. He's going to miss that game because he got suspended the previous game against Las Palmas. We'll see what happens with Victor Roque. We'll see how well he plays. Or Mark Yu. And, you know, we'll go from there. I'm happy because that's the only way that Xavi's going to bench him if he gets suspended. Unless he's injured or suspended, he's playing every single game. And that, to me, he hasn't earned that. He really has not. And he was not, like, I want to see players be treated fairly. If a player is playing bad, you bench him. Because when Rafinha is playing bad, Xavi takes him out. When Joao Felix is playing bad, Xavi takes him out. But when Lewandowski's playing bad, he seemingly never takes him out. He took him out a couple times this year, but that was about it. I mean, he played, like, he should have done it a lot more. So again, that was my frustration with Lewandowski. The fact that he wasn't playing well, and he kept playing, and he kept complaining to his teammates when he was part of the problem, and the fact that, you know, Xavi refused to take him out. So it's kind of joint frustration with Xavi, with the coach, and the player. I'm not sure if he actually had nude pictures of Xavi on his phone, but it seemed like it. It really did. But again, that's just my opinion on Lewandowski. I'd love to know what you guys think. Again, I appreciate what he's done over late. And if Barca win the UCL, it will be because Lewandowski has stepped up massively over this part of the season. But again, I want to know what you guys think. Am I being too harsh to Lewandowski? Am I in the right? Do you guys agree or disagree with what I say? Let me know your thoughts on Leo and how he's been doing as of late. And really his whole tenure at Barca as a whole. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on the whole situation. And yeah, man, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. It really does mean the world to me. I love every single one of you. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.